This week, we interview Hiram and Soloman Cigars. We have Fouad, Kashouty, and George Dakrat via Skype. And we have in studio Chris Clark, who is the brand ambassador for Hiram and Soloman. This is episode 267 of Stogie Geeks.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome everyone to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh yeah.
Joe Hozempa, aka Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up.
Havana Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Welcome to episode 267 of Stogie Geeks. I am your host, Joe Hozempa. Fast-moving episode today. We have live in studio Chris Clark, who is the brand ambassador for Hiram and Soloman Cigars. You want to stay tuned to our second segment when I do the Sticks of the Week, and we're going to talk about what we've been smoking. Thank you for joining us, Chris. You made the voyage all the way here.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a long ride down from Maine.
Yes.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
No problem. It was a beautiful ride, beautiful day. It only got warmer as I went south. So.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. We also have via Skype, we have the CEO and founder and also the partner. We have Fouad, Kashouty, and George Dakrat. How are you, gentlemen?
Greetings. We're doing great. How you guys doing?
We're doing very well. So now you know your sales, your brand ambassador, your guy on the road is working. So he reported for duty, right? while you're back home, taking care of the business. Tell us a little bit about Hiram and Soloman. Here in the Northeast, it does get a lot of brand recognition. It's a fascinating story. How you guys met. Take us through that and take us through all about Hiram and Soloman Cigars.
Oh, I'll take the George shot. I mean, first, Joe, I noticed when you mentioned the Chris name, you didn't look to your left side. When you mentioned our names, you had to look twice to read the names.
Yes. Yeah, Well, I think I got it now. I'm not going to look, right? I'm not going to look. So here's a test. We have Fouad, Kashouty, and George Dakrat.
Perfect.
All right. See? I knew I'd get it.
I work for him, and you're doing better than me.
So take us through Hiram and Soloman. I mean, interesting brand recognition, high ratings so far from your cigars. So
yes.
Take us all through that journey of yours.
Well, it started about 7-8 years ago, and after the lodge meeting, we were sitting downstairs and discussing lodge stuff, having drinks, smoking cigars. We were wondering why we never have Masonic cigars, and we started about 10-15 guys, and we ended up, George and I, and after a few years of talking about it, knocking many doors from major brands to smaller companies, that no one wanted to believe in us, and no one wanted to roll some cigar for us with some Masonic degrees, with some Masonic emblem on it. And after many years, George finally said, "Nobody wants to do it with us. Let's roll in. I'm in. If you're in, let's do it." We got the support. I would not say we got the approval of Grand Lodges, because nobody owns the right for the square and compass, the logo that we have on our cigars.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody has the rights to it. Same like the cross, nobody has the right for the cross. But it was good to get their support behind us. And the original thought about it was to raise some money for some charities, whether it's scholarship or Shriner Hospital or any Masonic or non-Masonic charity events. And finally, we end up doing some of the stuff, and the thought was, and the concern of the Grand Lodge is to have some good cigars, not just black and mild, if I want to call it, the type cigars, carrying our emblem that we respect a lot. And after experimenting with many blends, we end up coming up with some blends that we really liked and they liked it. And we launched it, our original line, the blue, what we call it, the blue line, going with the blue lodges, Masonic blue lodges. Instead of going with the light, medium, and light, we went with the Enter Apprentice, the Fellowcraft, and the Master Mason, which was originally, which are right now the degrees of the Masons. In order to become a fully fledged Mason, you have to go to the Enter Apprentice, the Fellowcraft, the Master Mason, and that's what we did. Our Enter Apprentice, which was our mild with the kick cigar, our Fellowcraft is our medium cigar, and the full body is the Master Mason. When we first launched, we started with a few thousand cigars, which we launched it on the website to sell directly to Masons around the world, actually, and we got very big success in a very short time period, having hits from different places, from Europe to Australia to even the Congo in Africa, the Middle East, and everywhere. And a few months down the road after that, we started getting phone calls from cigar lounges, which we were never prepared for that. We did not know the process, how the things goes with cigar lounges, because, as I said, originally it was just to be on the website, sell few cigars, give money to charity. We both own other businesses. It was never our full-time job. It was just a hobby to start with. Here we are, our third anniversary. We celebrate our third anniversary as of January 5th this year. And are in our fourth year now, fully committed. Not even a full-time job. It's a double full-time job. Technically, that's what we do. That's what we live. That's what we breathe right now. And we grew faster than we expected. It's a good problem to have. We were rated #2 boutique cigar in the world right now by Cigar and Spirit magazine. Our cigars are highly rated. Some of the cigars that we added, we went from our original blue line to we added three other lines, which is the Shriner cigar, to support the Shriner hospitals, and then we added the Traveling Man, which is another definition of a Mason. So a Mason is either a traveling man or a Mason. It's two names for the same purpose, serve the same purpose. And then we added another cigar after that, which called it the Veil Prophet, which is another group of the Mason called the Grotto Group. And so far we have six different lines. Each has 4 different sizes, and hopefully with this IPCPR we'll be ready to launch 1 or 2 more cigars to add to our collection of the cigars. George, to add anything? No, that's good. Huh?
So you both, Fouad and George, you are actively involved with your Mason Lodge still, correct?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yes.
And obviously your both of you are respected Masons, so you do a lot of community work, obviously, being Masons, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
We do. I mean, as Masons, as a whole group, as a whole fraternity, Shriners by themselves have 22 hospitals in the U.S. and some in Canada and some in Mexico. I believe 1 in Germany and 1 in the Philippines. Shriners alone, they do about $3 million a day in charity, besides the Scottish Rite with dyslexic centers and some other scholarship and other stuff that the different lodges and Grand Lodges do. So our connection grew very fast from the Grand Lodge of New Jersey, which we recently did the special fundraising for them to support the Coast Guard Memorial. So it's not just the Masonic charities that we look for, it's other stuff that involves any kind of the community involvements. So we did the 300th anniversary series, which last year, 2017, marked the 300th anniversary of the creation of the first Grand Lodge in England that united all the Grand Lodges that existed a few hundred years prior to that under one command. And the proceeds from that fundraising was for the Coast Guard Memorial in Cape May, New Jersey.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, so obviously you're two business guys getting together. You wanted to produce this line of cigars. What has been your welcome from a non-Mason perspective? Because I could imagine from the Masons, they would totally embrace the brand, maybe even seek after the brand, maybe even like the idea that proceeds of the certain sticks go to the certain allotted organizations, correct? So like so a percentage of the Shriners line goes to the Shriners, percentage of your fellow craft line will go to different charities and stuff like that. So obviously the Masons, I mean, tight brotherhood, warm embrace, friends for life. I get that. What has been your reception outside of the Mason within the cigar industry? Because, and the reason why I ask is here in the Northeast, whenever, it doesn't matter if it's Hiram Soloman or if it's any other brand, whenever a brand comes, the consumers always want to know more about the brand. And, you Hiram and Soloman, here in the Northeast, my opinion, have quickly became known as those are the sought-after Mason cigars. So what's it like outside of the Mason when you're trying to get into a regular retail store?
Actually, let's start with now. Right now, we have as many Masons as non-Masons who are smoking the cigar. In the beginning, we were a little surprised, but not surprised as well, because when people see the square and canvas, they recognize it's Masonic, and that brings their attention. They want to know the mystery, what's behind it. On the first time we went outside to sell our cigars, we were approached by non-Masons. They saw the square and canvas. They decided to know more about it, know about Masonry, and knowing about the cigar. They smoked the cigar. They loved it. But on that day, we ended with 2 applications from people to become Masons. That was a big surprise for us. That actually was a good news for us, because now we understood that we're not a cigar company anymore. We are ambassadors for Masons. And we brought that to the attention of our lodge, Grand Lodge, about that. They were impressed. They were happy with it. They gave us more support to our cause. So right now, we have a lot of people who smoke our cigars who have nothing to do with Masons. They smoke it for the quality of it, for the price of it, and some others smoke it because they know we involved in charity and in helping the community. But after all, at the end, people will smoke the cigar for the quality of the cigar and how much that quality is linked to the price of the cigar. And that's the main thing when people smoke the cigar. Yes, they may smoke it once for any other purpose, but at the end, cigar smokers looking for the quality of the cigar and for the price of the cigar. And I think we did great, especially after we moved to Nicaragua, started rolling at Plasencia. We get the quality with the price. Actually, we believe that our cigar is underpriced, but we're happy with that we can afford it for that, to sell it for that price and still in business and reach more people. Anything else?
It's actually take a couple minutes to talk about that. Your first go around with Hiram and Soloman, the prices came out and they were involved in a different factory, and then now you've moved the operations to the Plasencia factory over in Nicaragua, right? And you were able to come up with a better price point. Obviously, economies of scale will tell you that. From a business perspective, if they're producing a lot more cigars, cost of operation can go down. You two had to make a conscious decision to actually lower that price, because you could have kept it at the same, right? And just done it like that and tried to focus on that. So to the Stogie Geek listener who's either new to Hiram and Soloman, or to the Stogie Geek listener who knows of your brand recognition from the first go around, take us through where you are now, where you are with the price point, where you are with Plasencia, and what they can look forward to, especially with IPCPR coming up in a couple of months.
See, when we first started with the Dominican Republic, the idea was to sell directly on the website, and we were novice about pricing and how we had no clue about keystoning a cigar and stuff like this. So our cost from the Dominican Republic, I'll give it to you in one way, it was higher than what we sell at wholesale right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much we used to pay for that cigar. That's why that cigar was, when we first introduced it to the market, was at $17, $18, even $20 selling point in any cigar lounges. And the first season alone, we got about almost a little bit less than 700 calls from different cigar lounges where the Mason went and asked the brand, the place owner to bring the cigars in. When we sent them the cigar with the price sheet on it, we were only able to do about 10% of that, and the one reason it's not you don't have good cigar, it's your price point were very high.
For sure.
And we cannot introduce a new cigar to the market. We may be able to sell it for Masons, but even for Masons themselves, it's not a go cigar every day for $18. How many people can afford that?
Sure.
$18 cigar on an everyday base. We learned our lesson from that, and we definitely moved to, when we went to Plasencia, the price point where it's supposed to be. Of course, we did much more. I mean, we went from 10,000 cigars to 200,000 cigars, and we were able to put it in the market right now, where most of our cigars sells between $9 and $10, which is it's not the cheapest, it's not the most expensive. It's right where it's supposed to be. We even believe, I mean, the cigar value is more than that. But at this moment, to introduce it to everyone and put it to become a household cigar like any other major brand, this is where we are right now, and this is where we continue to push forward on it. And as far as the IPCR questions, we will be introducing one or two different lines, which probably most likely will be a much bolder cigar. Which will involve either some Andreas wrapper or some Cameroon wrapper, and we should be able to do great with that cigar too for the market that we're not hitting. As far as the perspective of some non-Mason on the cigars, we get some of the people who are curious about the Masons. They are either or the haters. We got some haters too over there that. I get messages, the Masonic cigar, or the Satan, they call it the Satan cigar, or the
sure.
the Satan cigar, or the bad people, or whatever. Some people even put stuff that nobody's supposed to smoke that cigar or touch it even. But that, for us, created controversy and help launching the cigar too, and help with the sales of the cigar. In cigar lounges, we believe most people who smoke the cigar, they're probably more right now non-Masons than Masons, and of course that goes with the percentage how many Masons smoke cigar compared to non-Masons at the cigar lounge. So we are being introduced to non-Masons, and that's the goal of introducing everyone. And as George mentioned before, that it's becoming a tool to bring in non-Mason or people who always wanted to be a Mason, did not know where to go. And so far I have a number 66 people in 3 years were able to join their lodges because of our brand, and about 2 of our retailers from the 66, 12 were international applicants that they did not know what to do. So 66, it's a big number for 3 years. Some lodges alone cannot do that. So we are technically, as George mentioned, an ambassador for the Freemasons. At the same time, we were able to introduce a great cigar to the market at the same time too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and I want to take the time out. You know, when you first came to the market, I've had the opportunity to try the Shriners when it was from the original factory, and then there was one more. It wasn't the Traveling Man? What was it? What was one of the original ones besides the Shriners?
The original one from outside the Plasencia was the Enter Apprentice Photograph at the Master Mason. Yep. Which we copied at the Plasencia, and we improved on it by putting different kinds of tobaccos in it. The Shriner was our first test at the Plasencia, mm-hmm. which included 5 different countries and 6 regions: Ecuadorian, Sumatra, Indonesian, Arapiraca, Habano, Jalapa, Habano, Emotapi, and Dominican. So 6 regions in 5 countries in that cigar. That was our first run at the Plasencia. And it was a great success that along with the pricing, we moved everything to the Plasencia factory. And now everything is produced at the Plasencia factory with the help of David Blanco.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Joe, real
Yes.
quick, one thing that you guys haven't mentioned yet that I really enjoy is your blending process. So, what sets you guys aside, and Fouad, you and I have talked about this a couple of times, what sets you guys aside from other companies maybe in your blending process and your quality control process that makes Hiram and Soloman, in my opinion, one of the best draws and one of the best ashes in the industry?
Yeah, actually, yeah, some people get impressed when we tell them that story, that when we blend, you know, even at the factory, they told us, you don't have to smoke the whole cigar. Normally, people smoke the third of it or half of it maximum. We insisted to smoke the cigar to the end as far as we can reach. Because as a smoker, a lot of time I do smoke a great cigar. But on the second half or the third part, I don't feel the same taste. I don't feel the cigar is good as it started. Or sometimes in the beginning, cigar is flat.
Mm-hmm.
We smoke the cigar from the beginning to the end, and we want the taste to be in each part, in each puff of the cigar. And that's why we spend more time blending and more energy to smoke the whole cigar and to see, do we have to improve the last half, the last third? Do we have to improve it in the middle, in the top? We want our cigar to have complicity in the whole cigar, from the first puff till the last puff. And we don't like people to throw the last third of our cigar. We really want it to be smoked to the end. That's our purpose.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I was going there. I was going there with a couple weeks ago when I had the opportunity to meet with you, George. You were traveling here in the Northeast, and I had the opportunity to meet Chris. And when I was reintroduced to this brand, I was told to go right for the Traveling Man. And so my experience, I tried the Traveling Man Toro, smoked that right down to the nub. I put a V-cut in it. I put a V-cut in this. Right now I'm doing the Shriners. And, you know, I'm getting close, and I still got some more to go. And that was my first take was, wow, like they've really changed. I don't know if you changed the blend. I don't know if you changed the quality. That's all between you. But when I was reintroduced to the brand and the blends, like I said a couple weeks ago, I noticed the actual change there. And then I was speaking to Chris, you know, we're over last week, and he said, you know, check out some of the other blends that we have as well. Then I tried, what was the
Fellowcraft?
Yeah, it was the Fellowcraft. So I tried, so again, I grabbed the Fellowcraft, I grabbed the Robusto, right? Because, you know, I was like, all right, let me grab the Robusto. I had the Robusto, and I was like, whoa. And then Friday afternoon, I ended up grabbing the Fellowcraft Toro, and I was like really impressed with that, right? I grabbed the Shriners from my collection. I didn't get to it yet. And then when Chris came here today, a couple hours right before the show, we had the time to sit down, and I'm still smoking the Shriners, and they're all different. They're all different, but from a palate perspective, they all linger on the palate. Like they really, really linger on the palate. I noticed that even Friday when, you know, when I left the cigar shop and I had a 40-minute drive home before I got ready to go to my Friday event, like I was like I still have that taste on my palate, which if you've had a first go around of Hiram and Soloman, you owe it to yourself now to rekindle yourself with the brand. Not only will you be amazed with the price point when it's in your local store, but what you've done with the actual blends, they're so different, you know? Because I was like, oh, I really like the Traveling Man. Then I tried the Fellowcraft. I'm like, oh, I really like the Toro. And now I'm on the Shriners. I still like the Fellowcraft, sure, but the Shriners does have a lot to offer
Well, and
as well.
The awesome thing about these guys and this brand in particular is the passion that these two have for the cigar. And that passion translates into my sales every day. And I don't call it sales. I call it spreading joy. Because what we're really doing is we're spreading a love for the cigar. And when you take two guys like Fouad and George who have a deep passion for cigars, it really translates into their product. And so when you smoke their line, starting with the Entered Apprentice, we call it the breakfast smoke. You can catch a video on Facebook of Fouad and George having their breakfast smoke at the lounge in New Jersey. It's pretty entertaining. But you start with the Entered Apprentice in the morning with your cup of coffee. Personally, I smoke the Traveling Man throughout the day. There's really not a cigar in this line that's going to leave you saying, I can't smoke another cigar.
For sure.
And that's the beauty of it, is these are blended so well. I have a picture on my Facebook, Hiram Soloman of New England, of an event the other night with a guy that had an ash literally a quarter of an inch from the nub of the cigar, and it was the entire cigar. And that's a great picture, and it's a great testament to what these guys have done with their passion. And absolutely, Joe, you're absolutely right. If you've had the original blend, you do owe it to yourself to try the new blend in one of the local shops.
Now, you were recently awarded, I believe it was a 92 or 94, or was it a 92 and a 94?
I mean, two of our cigars were awarded 94, the Master Mason and the Traveling Man.
Okay.
And the Shriner that you're smoking were awarded 91, and they called it the Holy Grail of cigars. That's a Masonic term, maybe, or a religious term, but we like it. The Connecticut and was awarded 92, and was called the Connecticut Miracle, because we believe we did add some kick to it by adding some Paraguayan and Pennsylvania Dutch to it, which gives it a little kick to prepare you to the next level, which the way we look at it, as the Enter Apprentice degree prepare you for the next degree in the Masons, the Fellowcraft, we wanted those cigars to prepare you for the next level. So if you started with our mild cigar, we didn't just want it to be mild, we wanted mild with a kick to prepare you for your next medium cigar. And as Chris mentioned before, there was a lot of work that done after the original blend. Each one of the blends, the original blends that we took to Plasencia, there were minimum between 26 to 32 different blends tested on each one of the cigars before we came up with the final blend for each one of them. And we made sure that everything goes on to double fermentation, which is a reason that you will not feel that aftertaste, that bad aftertaste after you smoke cigar. There's some cigar in the market, including, unfortunately, some major brand, that when you smoke the cigar, you have that aftertaste that you need to wash it with either coffee or a drink or something. I challenge every smoker in the market that they smoke one of our cigars. If there's any aftertaste after that, I challenge them to say something about it. The construction, we have a guy who sits at the company that watches the construction of every cigar. We asked Plasencia to put each cigar in the test blend, in a draw test. Each cigar, not just a few of 100, 545. Each cigar goes into a draw test. So far, again, from all the cigars that we sold, maybe we have a handful of cigars that did not draw right, and that's expected from hand-rolled cigars. The other aspect of that, I'm a strong believer of a boutique cigars that reflects the quality and the personality of the owners of that brand and what they want from it, versus a major brand that it's there for a big production. No matter what it is, we know what we want from the cigars. We know what we'd like to put in the market, and that's what we're bringing it to reflect the personality, to reflect what that cigar needs to be done. If you notice one thing, all our cigars, Enter Apprentice, Fellowcraft, Master Mason, Shriner, Veil Prophet, the Traveling Man, they are people, they are events. Each cigar represents an event, each cigar represents a personality or a degree. It's not a number, it's not 1965, or it's not a flying horse, or whatever it is. It is a personality. It's an event that brings you back to that specific moment. To Masons, and for non-Masons, it's something for them to to reflect on later on.
Mm-hmm.
I believe a lot of people went on the website checking what's the Enter Apprentice, so it reflects on the stuff. And I don't mean to offend any of the major brand by calling a flying horse. That's why I called it a flying horse, not flying anything else, or 1956. It is just the way we look at the cigar. It's an event, it's a personality, it's a memory. Mm-hmm. We believe every cigar has a memory that comes with it, and that's what we wanted to continue. We did not invent cigars, but we will definitely perfect that cigar smoking experience.
Absolutely. Now you have an event coming up here in the Northeast. Are both of you guys going to be present at that event?
Unfortunately, I cannot have another event in Michigan at the same time.
George, you're coming, right?
If you promise you come.
Yeah, take us to when the event is.
Sure. So we have an event Thursday, this Thursday actually, the 29th, at White Ash Cigar Lounge in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, just around the corner from the Paw Sox Stadium. Beautiful lounge, beautiful people. Natalie is awesome over there. She takes care of her customers very, very well. We just, as a matter of fact, switched the brand there. They had our old stuff in there, and we put the new stuff in that has arrived. That is available now. It's been put on the shelf as of today. So if you get a chance, stop in there. Tell Natalie I sent you, and I'll be over there later this afternoon. But yeah, it's going to be a big event. We're hoping for a good turnout. We're going to run some specials, some raffles. And there'll be some good food there as well. So definitely come on out for that. That goes from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay.
Is what time that event runs. And it's one of our favorite lounges to visit. Very laid back, very relaxed, great furniture to sit on, very comfortable. I find myself almost taking a nap there sometimes. So it's very, very nice place.
Good. Nice. Is there anything you guys would change so far? You've been in the industry for you're starting your 4th year. What type of lessons have you learned to enter in this crazy industry, having done other stuff business-wise, non-industry? Is there anything that you would have changed, or is there anything that you wish you would have known before?
It's a learning process. We learn every day.
Oh, sure.
And one thing that we keep on pushing forward, George always mentions that too. He actually came up with that. We respect our competition. If we don't respect our competition, we will not be where we need to be. So by respecting all the competition in the market, we will be top producer of cigars, of quality cigars. I'm not going to be. We're not definitely producing cigars that they're not going to be worthy of wasting your 1 hour of your time sitting and smoking it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
But we learn every day. Every day it's a new learning experience for us. If we need to, as at top of my head right now, if we need, we learn, probably we'll change some of the sizes, bring in different sizes, and that's what we're learning at this moment, and different the blend that cater to different smokers in the market.
Mm-hmm. So obviously you're here to stay. You're happy with the factory as to where you are now, and you're looking to grow the business.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, Fouad, hopefully someday I'll be able to connect with you and shake your hand. Maybe, have a cigar with you for sure.
Will be my honor, and we would like to thank Stogie Geeks for this opportunity to introduce our cigars to people who they may not heard of us, or they may not try it. Maybe that will push them to go and pick up a cigar and smoke it. And usually at my event, I challenge every customer that, again, I'm a guy who challenge people. I challenge every guy who does not want to try our cigar, that I will offer him a cigar. If he doesn't like it, I will buy him anything from that humidor, and I don't care what the price is. So far, nobody took me up to it, but I'm sure one day somebody will tell me I want the $100 Davidoff sitting on that shelf.
yeah, maybe, but you never know. It depends on which part of the country you're in. I guess. For sure.
One other thing to mention for these guys, Fouad's always looking for the next best step to forward the company and to service our clientele better. So we were talking a little while ago, and we were talking about the way they kind of do events overseas. And as we branch out, we didn't get a chance to touch on it, but as we branch out into international markets, we were looking at different ways to do events to set us apart from the industry. So on April 4th, we'll be launching our pilot event at Castro's Back Room in Keene, New Hampshire, also known as The Station, where we will do a $30 gets you 4 cigars, basically, and there'll be a social hour from 6 to 7 p.m. At 7 p.m., we'll sit down with, I believe it's George that's going to be there. We'll sit down and we will talk about the blend, what they're tasting, and introduce them to the world of cigars that they've never seen before. Similar to a blending seminar, but this will be on a wider spectrum to introduce to the whole entire line, not just to one specific cigar or one specific wrapper. So we're going to try this out, see how it goes. So April 4th at the station, 6 p.m. in Keene, New Hampshire, will be a piloting event for Hiram and Soloman, and we're hoping that it's going to go well. So it's also a fundraiser as well for a Shriner-style event for the local lodge there.
Awesome.
So
that's awesome.
I mean, the difference with that event, what we try to accomplish is everybody at that on that event, 30, 25, whomever is going to be there, they all smoke the same cigar at the same time. So we all start, let's say, with the Enter Apprentice. We'll talk about the Enter Apprentice. We'll discuss it. We hear their opinion about the cigar, their honest opinion. Nothing hurts our feeling actually anymore, because all it does is to make us improve what we have so far. And from there, will be a little bit the break. Then we move to the second cigar. Then we move to the third cigar. This is something done in Europe, and I've noticed it in many different places. And we're going to see if that's going to work around here, not just coming into here's a cigar and go smoke it inside.
Is this going to be your first IPCPR?
No, this is we've been in IPCR from our first year. This it will be our fourth. So we went there the first year not knowing what to expect, we had no clue. I mean, there was the total new experience for us.
Sure.
And we're improving. We did great last year. We did better than some medium-sized companies, and there were a lot of retailers that came and they were seeking us ready with the orders, and we did. For the first year last year after IPCPR, we got a lot of calls from retailers that we gave them sample, which we thought we would never hear from them, but we did. So far in the U.S., we're over 220 cigar lounges, and we're growing about 4 to 6 lounges a week now. We're in 17 countries, 4 different continents.
Nice, nice. Well, Fouad and George, I want to thank you for your time. Chris is going to stick around for the next segment. We're going to talk about Stogies of the Week and some other stuff, but I want to thank you two gentlemen for your time. Thank you very much for coming on the Stogie Geeks show.
Thank you for you guys.
Yes, thank you. Coming up.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. Coming up, we have the Stogies of the Week. I'm going to chat with Chris about some stuff cigar related. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Stogie Geeks, episode 267, volume 2. I am your host, Joe Hozempa. Thank you for tuning in. I have in studio Chris Clark.
What's up?
Chris is lighting his cigar. Chris is a brand ambassador for Hiram and Soloman Cigars. If you're just tuning in, we had a awesome interview with George and Fouad.
Yes.
Right? I'm getting the name.
There you go.
With George and Fouad. Well, let's stop right there. Let's take us through what it's like to, obviously they own the company, they're co-partners in the company, they manage the product and the blends. What's it like being a rep for Hiram and Soloman? And then we'll give that its due diligence, and then we'll take the time out in between. We're gonna do some Stogies of the week that I have to, and then we'll take you through some of the other brands that you represent as well.
Sure. So I cover all of New England, and wherever they need me to fill in, whatever they need me to do, whether it's the South, the North, wherever it is. If they need me, I'm there. So working for Hiram and Soloman is probably the best job I've ever had. It's stressful at times, like this morning, I had to get the kid to school and then get down here. I live in northern Maine, central Maine really, but everybody calls it northern Maine because they only know about Portland.
Yeah, right.
So the people, there's more to Maine than Portland, okay? But that being said, working for these guys, I've never met two people with more passion for the cigar industry. Everything they do with their cigar is about the love of the cigar, the love of the people. They want to introduce people to cigars. So my job isn't to sell. My job is to bring joy to people. I have the utmost confidence in our product. It makes it easy to sell. So when I go into a shop, I'm tasked with getting people who normally don't smoke boutique cigars to smoke a cigar they've never heard of. Not an easy position to have. Right. Especially shop owners that are like, oh, I only do this cigar or that cigar. Right. It's like, well, hey, why don't you give me 10 minutes of your time? Light this stick. I guarantee you smoke the whole thing. But as far as Fouad and George go, these guys spend majority of their time on cigars. It's what they do. Fouad was in Texas for almost the entire month. He spent a couple days up here with me and then was gone. We're doing events every week. We're constantly promoting product. We're constantly sending stuff out. So for me, it's the experience of learning about the industry, learning about the different cigars, learning about the blends, how they're blended, and I have fun doing it. I don't consider this work. I consider this a hobby that just happens to be a full-time job.
Yeah, sure.
So it's a lot of fun. The guys are really good to work for. They give back to the community. I'm a local elected official back home. I coach youth sports, and I'm a firefighter. So I give back to the community as much as I possibly can. And these guys really fit that bill because they give back to several different organizations. They donated $10,000 last month to a Coast Guard Memorial Fund back in New Jersey. So everything that we do is community-centered. It's about the people, for the people, and bringing joy to the people. So, yeah.
And cigars are tasty. They are awesome. What am I doing now? I'm doing the Crazy Connecticut. No.
Yeah, the Crazy, crazy Connecticut. The Miracle Connecticut. I believe that was just rated a 94, I think. I'd have to look at my numbers again. But, yeah, I mean, that's called the Miracle Connecticut. It's called that because, or so we've been told, because it's one of the first Connecticut's on the market to have flavor to it. So, as Fouad said, what we like to do with that...
It's got good spice to it, for sure.
It does, yeah. And the thing about it is, it's still a Connecticut. So, even if you smoke Connecticut's, and you don't like any spice, it's not the type of spice that is going to burn your mouth or make you hate the cigar. It's the type of spice that's going to let you know that you're smoking something, but at the same time allow you to enjoy the smoothness and the creaminess of a Connecticut. So
it does got a good a natural tobacco sweetness.
It does.
With it's got a scotch of a bite to it.
It does.
If you retrohale it,
Absolutely.
It's got a scotch of a bite to it.
But you have to retrohale. I mean, it's a cigar.
I get it. Well, this is the Stogies of the Week section. In this section, we take the time out and let the Stogie Geek listener know what the staff here and crew has been smoking. And this week, one of the sticks I had was the EP Carrillo New Wave Reserva. The format I had was a Toro. It's a 6x52. Wrapper is an Ecuadorian Connecticut. The binder is Connecticut broadleaf. The filler is Dominican with some Nicaraguan in it. Complexity, flavor, and balance on a scale of 1 to 10. Complexity, I gave it a 7. Flavor and balance, I gave it an 8. By the way, I posted all of this. StogieGeeks.com. Click on the Stogies section. You can comment underneath that and let me know what your experience has been as well. It's available in 4 different sizes. Basically, the Connecticut broadleaf really adds complexity, where immediately you get notes of cocoa, espresso, and a little bit of like a natural tobacco sweetness.
Absolutely.
For sure. I dubbed this a really good, great, actually, morning cigar. Okay? Or breakfast cigar. You know, if you're having brunch and you had a big breakfast and you want to smoke a cigar afterwards, it's certainly a good go-to. Because of the bitiness of the Nicaraguan, I'm not saying it's bitey where it's harsh. It just has a little bit of a kick to it.
It does.
Kind of like this, right? With that being said, I gave the EP Carrillo New Wave Reserva a box split. Are you familiar with the ratings here on Stogie Geeks?
I'm not familiar with the box split, but
pretty simple. We have lawn mulch, right? Now this was created by Stogie Geeks host in the past, right? So they have lawn mulch, angler, meaning you're fishing and you're right. They have a try one. They have a fiver, meaning you would buy 5. Box split, you would box split. They've added box split with a friend, which there is a true difference with box split with a friend. I have a couple of those ratings coming up.
Yeah, because usually you get the cigars back from the friend.
Well, I actually never thought about that, right? But you got box split with a friend. Then you got box worthy. Then you have fight Chuck Norris for it.
Ooh,
and Oasis.
Wow.
So, yeah. So those are the ratings.
Okay.
So I judge mine by what I would do. So like throughout the course of the year, would I certainly buy almost a half a box of these? Absolutely.
Absolutely. I would agree with you 100%. I mean, it's a great stick.
Yeah.
Lots of great flavor. And, it's the EP Carrillo company. They really know what they're doing with cigars, too. The burn's good. Draw's good. I don't think I've ever had a bad stick from that company. And I would agree with you. Yeah.
A couple of episodes back, we interviewed Ernesto Perez Carrillo. It was a good interview. It's over in the Stogie Geeks archive, so if you missed that, you can certainly check that out. Another one I had was the La Aurora DNA. The wrapper says ADN, not to confuse anyone. I took a picture of it, right? The size, I mean, I've had every single size except for the Grand Toro. So I've had the Churchill, the Toro, and the Robusto. But in regards to the Stogie Geek review, I reviewed the Robusto. I really like the Robusto in this flavor, right? I'm sorry, I really like the Robusto in this stick there. Yeah, whiskey's coming in nice now, too. The size is a 5x50. Wrapper is from Dominican Republic. Your binder is your Cameroon binder. Filler is Dominican Republic with a little bit of Pennsylvania and some Nicaraguan in there. Interesting mix.
I love the Pennsylvania, though.
Yeah.
I think it's underused in the tobacco industry.
I think you're going to see a lot of maybe that coming back for sure. I don't know about the nuances of its availability,
right,
and where it goes, but the ones that have a Nicaraguan Pennsylvania or maybe Nicaraguan Honduran mix seem to kind of do it for me.
Well,
know?
they have the sweetness and they have the spicy too.
Yeah.
So it's it's a nice balance.
Yeah, I like sticks that I can pair with a spirit, and I like sticks that I can have with just coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Not one that is only exclusive there, and there is a good balance for sure. With this here, you have a combination of a creamy, woody flavor. You get some espresso, and you get what I call gritty earth, as opposed to earth.
Yep.
Gritty earth, to me, it kind of has that almost umami flavor, like you're like wow, like if you ever had a steak and you lick, you're
I gotta get every corner.
That's a damn good steak, right? So it has that, and Hiram and Soloman has that too. Haven't had a chance to sit down and review them yet, but I can tell you that those reviews will be coming out soon, and those reviews will be high. I wanna what I like to do is I like to wait a couple months and wait for the consistency. You know what I mean? Because we had Willie here and Manuel here on the show when they introduced the DNA, and of course I had it, and then now some time has passed, and so when I rekindle myself with the blend, it's like, okay, if it seemed to be consistent. Because usually, what I find with some of the smaller batch, and it's not that La Aurora is small by any means, but some of the first batches, they come out, and you're like, okay, these are good, right?
Yes,
but absolutely. The thing is, after they've gone through the first batch, and the shops go to order them, and they get the reorders in, are they just as good?
Right.
And some companies have that hurdle. And some can actually
I think that's a hurdle that all companies face, though. I mean, it's hard when you have a hand-rolled cigar, especially the aging process and everything that goes into a cigar, to keep that consistent quality, because the tobacco you might be picking from the same tobacco, but maybe it grew a little bit differently, or the rains were a little different.
Sure, yeah.
Look at it like a Scotch. Or a blended Scotch whiskey or something like that. You have the Highland and the Lowland. Maybe it didn't rain as much in the Highlands, so the Lowland Scotch tastes a little bit different. Which I just got an education on that a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's difficult as a blender to really nail it every single time, and I think that those companies that do really make it far in the industry, and the companies that don't kind of fall by the wayside. And it's one of those cigar industry things. If you don't learn it quick, that it can really be a downer for the company, and it's sad sometimes. I've had some really good sticks that I really liked, like you said, and next thing I know, I can't find them anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
And it's because rather than risk their quality, they decided not to produce for a couple of years until the tobacco came back to what they wanted it to be. It can be a downer for sure.
It's a tough business choice to make.
Absolutely.
It's a tough choice to make, especially when the competition is so fierce, and you got a jockey for shelf space, and there sometimes it gets to be a challenge.
Well, everybody in the industry is friends, right? But that's outside of the industry. So everybody, we all get along, even other reps and I, we all sit around and have a spirit together and smoke each other's cigars. But when it boils down to it, in the business side of things, it's a really cutthroat world, unfortunately. And like you said, the shelf space, companies battle for that shelf space. It's real estate for that business owner. So look at it like buying a house. You're not going to buy a house that's dilapidated and falling apart when you can buy the house that's looking good and maintains its condition without touching it. So business owners look at their shelf space as real estate, and they say, what can I get for my, what's the bang for my buck? Are my customers going to get the same thing every time? And that's important. And I think that's why you might go into a shop one week and they have one cigar, and the next week that cigar is gone and it's been replaced by another cigar. I mean, that's happened to me several times.
Oh, sure.
So it's part of it, but we all try to work together and, give hints and pointers and tips where we can. We review each other's cigars all the time.
You only broker in the Northeast?
Yeah, I only broker in the Northeast. For the most part, the other two lines that I do, there's not really any other reps in the general area. So I branch out down into the Pennsylvania market a little bit. And pretty much wherever I go, if they don't have it, if I call the rep and he can't get down there and the company really wants it, I'll make the sale. And then the rep will take over that account. You know, I mean, we as reps for each company, we try to work together. You know, and it's important that we do that. But the Northeast is a big market. I mean, it takes me 6 hours to get to Hartford. Yeah. So, you know, when I go, I go. I'm there for a week. Yep. You know, and that's how that works.
And you work your way back up.
Absolutely.
Well, the La Aurora DNA Robusto, I gave it a box split. You know, you've had that before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I went old school for my next one. We had talked about this before the show. He's like, "What? you got to talk about this stick, right?"
I was impressed. I know a certain family member that's gonna like this one.
I had the Cielo America, right? Which as co-host of Stogie Geeks, people give me cigars all the time, right? And I go to a breakfast nook in my hometown all the time, like probably 3 days a week. I go there before I go to work, you know, and stuff like that. And the guy can't wait for the summertime because it's got all like retired cops. It's so towny, and they're outside smoking cigars outside the breakfast nook. And sometimes I join them. I actually take my schedule and go. But you know, with the Northeast weather we've been having, we haven't sat outside yet, right? And so probably about 2 months ago, he goes, "Yeah, you like cigars? Smoke this." And I was like, "Oh my God!" He hits me a Cielo America. I was like, "Where'd you get this? The Smithsonian, right?" You know. And then he's like, "They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I like them. It's a barber pole." He's trying to educate. It's got a barber pole. And, you know, it's going. You could actually film this place for sure. But I had the Robusto. It's a 5x56. You have a Connecticut wrapper. Binder is Nicaraguan. You got some USA tobacco in there. Some DR tobacco and some Italy tobacco all in the binder. So you got to mix the stuff. I like the way that they did the melting pot. It's a barber pole format. It's available in boatload of different sizes. Complexity. And the filler has a Brazilian filler, so it's going to have a little bit of strength to it, right? Complexity, flavor, and balance. I gave it all sevens, and it's. What I got was a little bit of vanilla, a little bit of nut, toasted, roasted nut, smoky flavor. But what I noticed was there's like a sweet caramel, and I guess the only way to describe it is like a old school sweetness. You know what I mean? Because the cigar, God, it came out off the top of my head, 2006, 2007 maybe. You know, it's been a while. It's been a while. And they came out with the Brasilia, the Italia series, and the America series with the
Brasilia is one of my favorites.
I was gonna go there. Like the Brasilia is, if I had a choice between all three, I would go towards the Brasilia for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, it's actually the branding and packaging is cool. They remind me of like little soccer jerseys. You know what I mean? Like they got all the American flag and all that stuff. If you find these in your shop, I mean, get them because they're old for sure.
I had somebody tell me once. They said, "Jesus Christ, I smoked that and I tasted a Werther's Original." I said, "Yeah." I said, "You could almost say that."
Yeah,
you could almost say that. A Werther's Original on the backside.
You have that your caramel. They're going to associate with that.
Yeah,
you know, it's a good stick because of its. I don't want to say it's nostalgic value, but I guess that's what's popping in my head. I gave it a box split with a friend. Yeah, you know, because it's one of those boxes that. You know, if you golf with a friend or you go fishing with a friend, and you could actually split a box with a friend. You might not blow through the whole box for yourself. It might not be a go-to, but it's a good smoke to definitely knock around with. You know,
absolutely, I would agree with that 100%.
You know, and I put on there old school flavor, I put old school craft, old school taste on the Stogie Geeks website because I could like I was writing it and I'm just like. I don't even know what to say. Like you know, because you know the guy who gave it to me, you know, I'm close to the guy. You know, I see him all the time, and you know he's owned restaurants, and he's one of those people like you go to the restaurant, in the breakfast nook, and like he has a picture of like everybody on his wall, like so you know famous people have went there and this and that, and it's like it's crazy. You know, it's just one of those spots It's in Bristol, Rhode Island, which is home of the oldest 4th of July parade.
Oh, yeah.
So it's in our neighborhood. Like, I live on the parade route, right? And so, you know, not only do I get to throw people off my lawn on 4th of July, right? You know, it's like, yeah, we pay rent. Oh, yeah, you're out of here, right? But, like, literally, at least throughout the course of 2 weeks, like 250,000 people just get injected into the town.
That's crazy.
For sure. And it's just wild. And, you know, I literally have to park my car on July 3rd at noon, and I have no access to it because we're right on the parade route till July 5th in the morning. Like, I literally, like, because you're not trapped, but you're trapped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, you're just people everywhere, and it's just one of those towns, you know. And the fact that, like, out of the woodwork, you know, it was a cold day because it was last month, and he's just like, hey. He hands me this CAO America. I don't even know if I could even get one in a shop. You know?
I don't think I've seen them. I think you can order them online, maybe.
Yeah, sure. You know,
I don't think I've seen them in a shop in a while.
Absolutely. So because of its value, its nostalgic value, its story, I gave it a box split with a friend.
Absolutely.
You know, I have one more stick I want to talk about, but before we end up going and wrapping that up, take us through the other lines that you represent as well.
Sure. So I represent a couple other lines. I represent one that I just brought on that I'm very happy to bring on as the company moves forward, and as they sort of rebrand and move forward, is Rockefeller Cigars.
Mm-hmm.
I just reached an agreement with them this past weekend when I was in New York City. And I'm going to be representing their cigar up here in the Northeast. The other one is the Ohana line,
Mm-hmm.
from Ryan Rodriguez and Holly Flores. They're out of Texas. Very good cigar, very boutique, very small company. They're on the up and rise here. They make a quality brand that I truly believe in the next couple of years you'll be seeing in most of your local shops. And then the other one that I represent is Epic by Dean Parsons out of Florida. Another great stick. One thing about me is I've been in sales a long time, and I won't represent something that I don't believe in because I refuse to have to lie, beg, borrow, or steal to sell my product. So these are four lines that I really believe in. The Ohana line, they have one major line that we really push, which is the Pulse, and this comes in a Maduro and Habano.
Mm-hmm.
Very great blends. Don't quote me on the blends. I suck at remembering that stuff, but I do know that we have the San Andreas wrapper, and it's a genuine San Andreas wrapper on our Pulse Maduro, and that particular blend is one of my favorite cigars to smoke. And when you smoke it, at first you get this nice sweet and spicy flavor on the front side.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like eating Thai wings, kind of. It's sweet,
Oh,
but
really?
it's spicy.
Okay.
It's just a really great flavor. And as you get through it, it gets a little bit darker. So you get some hints of the dry earth. You get some hints of the dry leather. A nice little bit of cedar hint. Now this comes in a box press. And this cigar is just so well constructed that you can actually hold the ash all the way down. You don't get it all over your shirt. It's not flying all over the place when you're driving down the road.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have a hard time with because every time I pick up my cigar, I get ashes all over me. But it's just an all-around great blend. Hopefully, you'll be seeing that in stores here in the Northeast as things pick up. I do have a couple of shops. One of which is going to be Churchill's over in East Providence.
Mm-hmm.
He's bringing that cigar in either this week or next week. And then we have a shop up in Keene, New Hampshire that just brought the line in, and it's doing well up there, both Epic and Ohana. Nothing with Rockefeller quite yet, but we will get that moving here soon. I suspect that the Providence market will be a great market for that,
Mm-hmm.
as well as my northern New Hampshire market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's awesome. Just so you know, if you want to schedule an interview with any of those,
Yeah.
you know how to contact
Oh,
me.
absolutely.
All right, there you go.
Listen, man, I can book you for the next 3 weeks.
And then, well, we are booked. We are booked, but you know, for sure.
I don't know if your viewers want to see my ugly face for that long.
Well, they have to look at mine.
Wow, I know.
You know, they have to look at
Well,
mine.
your picture must be up on the wall at the restaurant, right? I mean, you must have signed a picture and put it up on the wall.
The wall. No, when I like it, when I go, when I first met you, everybody wanted George's autograph, and I was like, "What? You don't want mine?"
I asked you to sign my poster, and you walked away.
Nobody wanted my autograph. Well, what's the matter with that? Right?
Well, you know,
I haven't reached Shoppy status yet.
no,
You know,
no.
I even have Stogie Geeks stickers. Like,
What do
I
you
can sign-
expect? You walk around with a PBR shirt on. What do you expect?
You know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, right? I had for my last stick, I want to talk about for this segment. I had. Oh, first of all, you know how you asked me about this? What is this? The stag?
the red stag red, yeah.
This rocks. like, let me tell you something. You have like a sweet. This red stag with this Connecticut is a pairing.
Really?
It is a pairing.
I'm gonna have to try it.
The one with the Shriners I had,
Yeah.
soda because you get such a licorice red. You gotta have a sip of that red for you. It rocks.
I will. And for the record, I'm gonna be over at Churchill's after this in East Providence. Then I'm going down to White Ash in Pawtucket.
Oh yeah. Some people would definitely catch up with you there.
People come check it out.
I've been trying to get Churchill's to view Stogie Geeks live, but they don't.
They don't watch it live?
No, they ask me about it, and I tell them all about it, and it's okay. Well, now we don't have to watch the show.
Like the customers or the owner?
The customer. Oh, the owner. The owner. No, the owner.
I was gonna say I'll charge him an extra 20% if he's not watching.
Yeah, you tell him. You say, hey, you know, what's your story? You know, yeah.
Well, I gotta say my straight gym works just fine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I had that last couple episodes, but then I just noticed that bottle. I don't know, Paul. It's good. It switches.
I gotta tell you, folks, this whole operation here.
The Stogie Geeks
Holy
operation?
crap.
Yeah, right? You walk in, right? It's like Disneyland. You don't realize
Holy
it, you know.
crap, man. It's like a techie's dream in here.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's crazy. You know, what I could do a whole episode about what I've learned tech wise being a co-host here since 2017 January.
No, what you should do is take one of the cameras and walk around.
Yeah,
and show everybody what's going on here, because man, this operation, it's not just a little tiny operation.
yeah.
It's just the
Everybody
real deal.
has that impression when they walk in, like, oh.
That was my exact thought. I was like,
You know.
first of all, I noticed the smell.
Yeah.
The cigars. Everybody's smoking cigars. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
it. But man, it's you got a great crew here.
Yeah. But Paul and his staff do a very a fantastic job of not only producing the show but keeping it going and the behind the scenes and all the tech stuff. So hats off to them.
Absolutely.
And what I like about it is next month it's gonna be a buzzer to get to us.
Oh really?
Yeah. So it's gonna be like, who are you? Right? Right. So you know it's gonna be awesome.
I don't want to talk to you. So for the record, let it be known that if Joe doesn't want to talk to you, you're not getting buzzed in.
You're not getting buzzed in, right? You're not getting buzzed in. I had the Nat Sherman Metropolitan Connecticut.
Oh, I ashed on your floor.
No, Paul does it all the time. Don't worry about it. Right? The Nat Sherman Metropolitan Connecticut. I had the Robusto. It's a 5.5 by 56. Wrapper is Connecticut. Binder and filler is Dominican. Complexity, flavor, and balance. I gave them all 7s. You get a mixture of cream, earthiness with some slight cedar. Again, classic smooth cigar. This would equally please the beginner smoker for sure and the seasoned smoker. And I also wanted to make a note that it is excellent breakfast or morning smoked cigar.
Absolutely.
You know, Nat Sherman did a great job with that. I gave it a box split with a friend. You know, that you can grab them. Some shops still focus on the Nat Shermans. I know sometimes they put them online. Is the whole going back and forth online, not online? You know, it is what it is. There too, but the Nat Sherman Metropolitan Connecticut, I gave it a box split with a friend.
Absolutely.
You know, you go golfing. It's a good golf cigar. It's a great morning stick. I don't know. I love. When I take a day off of cigars, I have 2 days a week that I just let my palate rest.
You should.
You
Absolutely.
know, I do that. And it's not a scheduled 2 days. It's a random 2 days. And I love that if I know it's a good breakfast cigar, I'll ramp up to that. You know what I mean? Like I'll be like, oh yeah, there's sometimes it's amazing if you just take a day off. You know, if you're, you know, I understand it's great to go to your local tobacconist every day. You see your friends, you get to take some time out of this crazy world, but some, you know, it gives me a chance to do other stuff.
Well, your palate needs a break. I mean, you can burn your palate out. You know, especially for the guys that smoke the same thing over and over again. Like, for example, I smoke Hiram and Soloman all the time. You know, and I find that if I go to a different cigar, it's like I can't taste anything because my palate's been burned out. So I'll take a couple days off. Like, I didn't smoke anything this weekend, you know, while I was hanging out with the kids. And I got in the car this morning, and I lit up a cigar, and I was like, whoa. All right, I can actually taste this one now.
Yeah, sure.
You know, same cigar I had the other night.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is good. You know, I knew this was a good stick, but the other night it was like I don't taste anything. It was almost like smoking a bland Connecticut.
Sure.
So
now,
it's good to rest.
Now, before we take off, I want to ask you my favorite rep question.
What's that?
That I ask. Other than your stuff, what do you like to smoke?
Other than my stuff, what I like to smoke. All right. That's fair. So I'm a really big Pete Johnson fan.
As am I.
Love Tatuaje. His parents have a little shop right in my backyard. He graduated from actually my rival high school. He graduated from Gardner. I graduated from Coney. And that's the second oldest rivalry in the country for any sport, high school up through college and to the NFL and hockey and all those baseball sports. So I love his stuff. Big fan. I think Tatuaje has hit the nail on the head. I think they're heading in the right direction. And I think that what they've done is unreal. Some of the stuff they've come out with is great. The other company that I really like, I'm very boutique. I like BLTC.
Okay.
I think that the Black Label has done a great job. I've had some of their factory exclusive stuff that's coming out this year. They've been posting some pictures, and I've had some of that stuff courtesy of some of my vendors. So it's interesting to smoke the different stuff. And my top to round out my top three. I just had a Tabernacle the other day.
Okay. Yeah.
For the first time.
Yeah.
And that hit my top three.
Yeah.
So that was a great smoke, lots of flavor, and very, very good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We couple probably off the top of my head like 10 segments ago, or something like that on Stogie Geeks. We did a top 5 to watch, brands to watch, and Black Label was one of my top 5.
James Brown is insane
to watch, and especially did you try the Killer Bee?
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah, then
I've
there's
had
another
one in
one.
my humidor for like 6 months.
The Santa Marta.
I haven't had that one yet.
It's next door. My rating of the Santa Marta was okay. It's different from any Black Label that you would have for sure. And if this is the direction that the company's going in,
oh, you just wait.
Like definitely pay attention to this company.
You just wait.
Because you know how some companies like they come out, they kind of say that they're a profile. Like, you know, there's nothing against Autotoro Fluente, but they have a profile.
You know what they're gonna.
You know what it's gonna be. There's
Absolutely.
nothing. You know, EP Carrillo. Every once in a while, when they come out with like a stunner or something like that's out of the blend, but you know what to expect from EP Carrillo.
Yep.
You know what to expect from some stuff from General. You know, again, and again, we can go. You know what to expect from the Davidoff, right?
Yep, absolutely.
But when you look at Black Label, and they had their profile from their Salvation and the original line, right? And the Royalty, and I'm missing like 3 or 4 other ones,
Catacomb,
right? Thank you,
Deliverance.
Right? Yes, thank you, right.
I told you.
So bad.
I told you.
I'm so bad with stuff like that. Like it took me like 7 months to pronounce Criollo right. Like seriously, like
I still can't pronounce half the tobaccos in my cigars, so it's okay.
But you know, and when I have, you gotta try the Santa Marta. It's next.
I will as soon as we leave here. That's what I'll grab one.
It's like it's usually, honestly, it's so different that it's probably out of 4 Mondays after Stogie Geeks, because I get together with the crew after the show, and the crew gets out of work, and we have one more stick next door, right? And I usually go to the Santa Marta because sometimes when I smoke here on the Stogie Geek Show, I've went through a couple sticks, pallets sometimes get shot or whatever. Sometimes I have more rum or whiskey than I should. Right? So I switch to soda next door and stuff like that and whatnot. But you know, I go to the Santa Marta because it's that different. Like
well,
it's amazing.
Let me for all you viewers out there, here's a little peek at what's coming from Black Label.
Oh, here we go. I like it.
So a friend of mine, and
starting rumors here on the Stogie Geek Show.
We got it right.
That's all right.
We got it. So a friend of mine came back from the factory in Nicaragua, and he said, I was there bringing him some cigars. He said, "You got to try these." I said, "Okay, great." I said, "What is it?" And he said, "This one's called the Fiend. This one's called the Misfit, and I think the other one was Tiger or something like that. It's a barber pole. I don't remember the exact name of it." I said, "Wow," because he found out I love Black Label. So I put him in my humidor, set him aside for a rainy day, right? So we get in the mobile lounge one night, and the mobile lounge is my car.
Okay.
It's freaking cold out.
I like it.
And I'm sipping on my rum, and I'm like, I'm going to try myself a Fiend tonight. So I'm not going to go into details on blend because I want you guys to be surprised when it comes out. They've started posting pictures on James Brown / BLTC Blackworks Studio on Facebook. Look them up. Great page. You can find all the latest information there. But basically, this cigar knocked my socks off.
Really?
Because it had pepper. It had sweetness. It had, I mean, this stick was everything I want in a stick, and it did not disappoint as you would expect from Black Label. Did not disappoint. It's cutting edge. I'm telling you, when the new cigars come out, they're going to take the market by storm.
Nice.
You mark my words right here, right now.
There you go.
When these new cigars come out, they're going to be all the rage in the market. I guarantee it.
And no collaboration.
Right.
Because my prediction was this IPCPR. And throughout 2018, you can see a lot of collaboration work.
Yeah.
It started that way at the end of the year.
No, and that's.
But I think they're just trying to keep it close, and then it's right after IPCPR round, you're gonna start to see that, and no collaboration. So
absolutely, and they're nailing it. I'm excited for Hiram and Soloman. I'm excited for Ohana. I think the cigar industry is headed in the right direction. Just remember, people, support your local brick and mortars, because if we don't buy from them, eventually we're going to have nowhere to smoke.
That's very true. That's very true. I do have one more question.
Oh, boy.
Because you didn't answer the first question.
What do you mean I didn't answer the first question?
Which tatuajes?
Which tatuajes?
You just said you like Pete Johnson's line. Well, that's cool. Like what would be your top two go-to? There's no pressure. It's only
no pressure.
It's only us here. Don't worry about it.
Right. It's only us. There's not like 15,000 people watching. I would have to say the tattoo is my go-to. If I go in a shop and they have it, that's my go-to. I forget the name of the other one that I smoked. A friend of mine, Nate, back home, he's an even bigger Tatuaje fan, and he hands me cigars all the time.
What's the band look like?
You had to ask. It's been months.
It's okay.
I forget.
Okay.
It's name a couple.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. See?
You can't. What? There's La Mission. The Mission.
No, it wasn't
79, 59.
No.
89, 29. I don't know. No, there's so many. You have Black Label.
Tattoo,
I like the Tatuaje, the tap black. So it's a Black Label.
Yeah.
The tap black Lancero.
Okay.
It's like banging. You know.
And a lot of the ones that I get at his mom's shop aren't banded. So a lot of them are just wholesale, like, stuff that he sends to her.
Oh, it's probably the Series P.
It could, yes.
So it's a Series P.
I think it's a Series P.
If it's a Series P, wow, this happens like all the time on Stogie Geeks. Seriously, when we never talk about it, but it comes up. I actually rated that cigar last week.
Really?
On Stogie Geeks.
Yeah, it
definitely. They're only in bundles.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a Series P. They originally started out rolling only in Miami. You know, and then to go there. And
it was one of his original blends.
Yeah, and it mimics the tap black blend.
Yep.
It's got some mixed fillers in there. Off the top of my head, between week to week, the Stogie Geeks is like a blur, right? Actually, the current show is a blur. Who do we interview today?
I forget.
Who do we interview today? Who are you? Hold on. I got a card. We got Chris. No, but the Series P's, they're so tasty.
Yes, they're very,
and the funny thing is, like, if you look them up, they're not expensive.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
If you guys are up in Maine, One Brunswick Trading, downtown Gardner, Maine, that's where Pete's parents are at. His dad will talk your ear off. Super nice guy. Knows his stuff about antiques, but he also knows his stuff about cigars. So
you live in Maine, craft beer mecca.
Oh man, let me tell you.
You have 87 breweries and counting over there.
Did you hear about what we? That's just counting the ones that actually register with the state.
Right.
I mean, it's like Moonshine Central up there. Because
sure. Yeah.
It's not actually moonshine though; it's craft beer.
Yep.
Like they're not registered with the state, but you can buy their beer.
Yeah.
Did you hear what we did with? I forget what country. I want to say it was maybe Ireland.
Oh no! They filled. I know what you're talking about. I actually posted this on my Facebook.
Yeah, I forget what country.
They filled up one of those long trailers.
Yeah.
Of craft beer, and
yeah,
it was. I believe it was Iceland.
Iceland, yes.
Yeah, I believe it was Iceland, and like 50 craft breweries all did, and they actually did a craft beer festival.
Yeah, over there. And they sent their beer back over here in the same trailer.
And they sent it back on the same trailer, and it was so. And and that, I mean, it's a different episode for sure, but that is true embracing of your space of where you work in.
Absolutely.
But that is also true, like, economic stimulus where you can now in this trailer, we actually got a tour inside of it where it comes with the keg.
It was
a kegerator.
Yeah, right. I mean, it was all giant kegerator.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was. Yeah, they actually sent it to Iceland for a craft beer festival.
Yeah, and then we had a festival over here.
And then the Maine had the Brewers Guild of Maine does a phenomenal job.
And I'll tell you, craft beer pairs really well with a cigar.
Oh yes,
you got to get the right one, but craft beer pairs really
well. Paul wants more of that tasting going on to wrap up 2018.
Yeah.
Right now we've been doing a lot of it with the wines and stuff like that. And then Stogie Geeks has been traditionally doing it with spirits forever. But craft beer is one of the things that...
Let me know. I'll pick up a few six-packs on the way by.
And then you come down?
And I'll come down.
After they have a panel.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have a panel of people out here.
It'll be like last week's show when we had the whole guild.
I mean, you can walk into a store up there, and I'm getting off topic here, but you can walk into
I do it all the time. The crew's totally used to it. You know, I've said goodbye to the audience a long time ago.
Guys. So you go into a store up there, and of course, liquor's regulated by the state. Beer is distributed by a distribution company up there. So all these places registered with the state, even like the big names like Shipyard, has a location in Maine, in Portland, where they have a store that sells memorabilia, but the store has to buy the beer back from the distribution company in order to sell it.
Yeah.
So you take tours of all these breweries, and they have select samples that you can buy that aren't on the market.
Right.
Like Allagash, man. They have some stuff in there.
I've been there, yeah.
Oh, man, they have some stuff in their cooler that it's $30 a bottle.
Yeah.
But it's worth every bit of it. But you walk into one of these liquor stores, beer stores, and there's literally 6 aisles wide of 600 different beers that you can choose from. And you get overwhelmed. It's worse than walking into a humidor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unreal. Yeah. It's awesome.
We got to have you back for a craft beer thing.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
That's it. Episode 267 in the wraps. I have been your host, Joe Hosempa. Thank you for tuning in. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Hey, pleasure to be here, guys. Remember to support your brick and mortar.
Good luck on the road. We'll see you next week.